Hi, I'm John Milewski, host of Dialogue, on the set of Dialogue at the Woodrow Wilson Center in Washington, D.C., where just concluded an interesting discussion on education reform specifically. And our angle today was to look at it from the perspective of the classroom, and not the usual way it's talked about, which is often a top-down model, which often doesn't even involve educators. Let me tell you who we have with us today. Paul LaRue is first. He's over here, and we'll go from my right to left. And Paul is a teacher from Ohio. Hugh Osborn is a consultant in the arena of education, working with an innovative program in North Carolina called Bright Idea. And then next to Hugh, right here next to me, is Gary Rubinstein, and he teaches in Manhattan, a math teacher, and also a prolific blogger. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us here. Let me ask you this. What is the one thing, it's kind of a bit of a gimmicky question, so think about it for a second, but what's the one thing that reformers don't know about what's going on in the classroom, or that is important about the nature of classrooms or the nature of students or the nature of teachers that they are missing?
Can I say one that's I think absolutely central? Central to the reformers, as they call themselves today, is the notion that teachers are born and not made. And they believe that the bad teachers are bad teachers, get them out, and that good teachers are born, so let's get TFA and get more Teach for America. Let's get more top graduates out of college in there and get sort of good, potential good teachers in there. That notion is just dead wrong. You can make teachers, you can make teachers. 80% of people, or some large percentage, probably can be very good teachers. And there's some percent that just don't love kids and aren't set up for it and they shouldn't be teachers. But most of the rest, through a lot of hard training, you can make good teachers.
Paul, you've been in the classroom a long time. What do you know that they don't know?
I think sometimes they lose sight of the fact, maybe because they haven't been there, that it is still a great environment, and there's so much potential. And I have students that come from all kinds of backgrounds, and you know, they bring you the best they got, and you know, it's up to us to give them, you know, all the opportunities and all the things. And again, I'm from a rural southern Ohio, and we have a wonderful community, wonderful kids, but I think a lot of times the reformers are, I don't know where they all live, but I haven't seen any in Washington Courthouse.
Where do they come from?
I don't know where they come from, but not Washington Courthouse.
Gary, what are the secrets from the classroom that you could tell us about?
Well, in schools in general, I've taught at 4 different schools. What they don't know is that you can have a school that has very low test scores and that has very hardworking teachers, and they just don't realize that. They assume that these teachers are lazy, and if we make them work for their grades better, that they'll do better. But I found hardworking teachers in schools that have had very poor test scores, and I believe the kids learned a lot, despite what their test scores might show, that the kids were learning things.
One other quick thought I wanted to, we didn't get time to speak about this during our dialogue taping, and so we'll cover it now as bonus material, and that is the cultural problem, that teachers are not treated as professionals in this country. Is that something that significantly weighs on this, and is that something that is overcomable? I'll give you an anecdotal example. My wife, a teacher, told me yesterday in discussing this upcoming program that her ID, which gets her in and out of school, it stops working at 6 p.m. She can't get in after hours, she can't get in weekends, and in the summer, when school is out, she has to turn it in, get it back. Now, working here, I have a ID card that gets me in 24/7. Most professionals can come into their office and work anytime they want. So to me, that was another sign of disrespect, that teachers are not being treated like professionals. How much does this factor into the problem? Am I dead wrong about this? Am I exaggerating the problem?
Well, I would say that up until 5 or 10 years ago, when all the sort of bashing teachers happened, we didn't feel very well respected because of sort of the low pay. However, we got paid in different ways with the satisfaction of our jobs. Now, in an attempt to elevate the teaching profession, the reformers say we're going to value teaching by giving this merit pay, and that's supposed to fix this, that we don't feel respected because we're not getting paid. But that really was not the big problem. Now I feel much less respected because I'm still not getting the big pay. And now me and really my profession is getting blamed for society's problems. So it's worse. So now it's worse. Before there wasn't a great respect because of the pay, but it's okay. Other countries, like Finland's always pointed as an example, the teachers don't make that much money, but it's a competitive field, and there's respect to it. I felt more respected before this whole reform movement started.
Have you given this any thought?
I've given a lot of thought. I'm not sure you want to hear.
Well, we'll take 30 seconds of that.
All sides of it. I think there's been a bad dynamic between the unions and teachers. Again, if teachers are not really prepared to succeed, which I think is the single biggest problem in a very difficult environment, especially in inner city and rural and poor neighborhoods, if they don't succeed that well, but it's not their fault and they get blamed, they need professional protection. So the unions have ended up being more like trades unions than they have been professional associations, really concerned about how to get the teachers up at a higher level. That said, almost every teacher I know is very hardworking and a great professional, and I think a lot of the problem is exactly what Gary was talking about, and it's the sort of reform movement and waiting.
It's almost like being a member of Congress, throw the bums out, but not my member. We'll keep mine. I love my teacher, but all the other teachers are bad.
My experience may be slightly different. One of the real, I guess, joys of being from a rural community is, I have to say, being a teacher still means something. It sounds cheesy, but I have one of the last great jobs in America. And I mean, there's days like any job, it makes you crazy, but in a small rural community, people know who the teachers are. It's homecoming this weekend in my community, and it's those kinds of things. You see people, and it still means something. So,
well, Paul LaRue, you forced us to end on a positive note. So there's nothing else we can do. If you'd like to see a longer discussion with our guests, and why wouldn't you? Come to our website, wilsoncenter.org. Look on the upper right-hand side of the screen where you see the TV and radio tab. Click that, and you'll find your way to an entire 30-minute program.